Thank you. Audience, please, thank you. Welcome again to my show, The Simran Show, and today we have a fascinating guest for you all, the great Albert Einstein. Introducing Einstein. Thank you for coming today, Mr. Einstein.
Anything for a friend.
Always nice to see a genius in action. Alright, Albert, the world has been eyeing you for quite a while now. Always admiring, but always wondering, who is this great man and how has he revolutionized the world of physics?
Well, it all started when I went to Bern. Since I was in I direct to go to university in Switzerland for my Jewish heritage. So I decided to work as a clerk in the patent office there from 1901 to 1905. In 1901, my greatest accomplishment, one that can change the very way we see the universe today. Time, mass, length, things that we thought were absolute aren't truly. Today I am doing the same. If I cannot question science, how should I believe? As much as I wanted to continue my research, it was not to be. For I was interrupted and forced to meet with someone who I regret meeting with.
Albert, this is all very interesting and we can surely use it to generate great profit. This is quite logical, but this is not what I was getting at. I'm pretty sure that you know that too, for you're no imbecile. But rather than having me blatantly say it out, I mean, we're only at wartime here. I will continue this discussion with you when the president arrives. Will you support the cause?
Surely, all the profit gained from generating this energy, can't it just provide for your army and your war and such?
If you insist on being naive, Professor, then I'm afraid the president will have to be more firm with you. Do you remember whose country you're in? Mr. President! Nice to meet you, sir.
You too, Mr. Slurg. Professor, aren't you gonna stand? There we go.
There.
Professor Einstein, I'm so glad you could join us during these troubled times. I'm assuming your accommodations have been satisfactory? Yes, well, good. Your presence in the scientific community is definitely noteworthy. I have never seen so brilliant a person as yourself.
Thank you, Mr. President.
I can say the same, but with someone as important as yourself, I have some very serious and crucial matters to discuss with you, which is why I requested the audience with you alone. I don't want any interference from any other politicians right now. We need to cut to the chase, and they will only divert us from our path. Now then, Professor, Leo has told me that your formula can be of some use to me.
Indeed, I believe so. Right, Albert? Please tell him what you just told me.
My equation relating to mass and energy changes the mass at extremely high speeds. But its energy, if it's generated, can help your army. It can even make a profit to this whole entire country.
This is indeed intriguing. No doubt, once this war has passed and we have claimed victory, we shall indeed start putting this equation to use to provide energy to everyone. However, that is not why we called you here, Professor. We know that there are also Germans who have this equation, and they have been experimenting with radioactive elements, neutrons, nuclei of atoms. Our spies tell us that they are creating a weapon of some sort. We need you, Professor, as you know, to aid our team in developing a weapon before them, using your formula.
Mr. President, so many things can go wrong. Very wrong. Worse than death. I believe if we do this, it could scar the world forever.
This sentimental babble of yours is irritating me, Professor. Are you aware that if you don't use your formula, even more lives will be lost? Just because you refuse to help us?
Mr. Szilard is correct, Professor. For you see, many lives have been lost and many more will be lost, unless we can make a weapon that will strike fear into our enemies' hearts and win us the war in one fell swoop. You are also a refugee in our country. We are protecting you from religious persecution. I believe there is no better way to serve your new homeland than by simply helping its inhabitants. Perhaps the inhabitants of every nation on the earth. In other words, Mr. Einstein, you have a few options.
But that device, whatever we make, we'll we really use it will not just be for show. Seeing is believing, as they say, and you don't need to see the device in action.
Of course, this will only serve as a defense measure. You don't possibly believe that we would manipulate this kind of power, do you?
I understand we all have a role to play here. And yours begins next week, 0600 to 2200, from Monday to Saturday. If that's fine with you, Mr. President.
Yes, time is of the essence. Let's make a haste and deal with these matters swiftly and effectively. As Mr. Slizzer said, you are to begin working with the new engineers immediately at your assigned times. Is that clear? I'm glad we have your cooperation, Professor. You have made the right choice for yourself, for our people, and our country. You shall be revered forever as the man who ended the war.
A equals MC squared, mass, inertia, yes.
Sir, I think you want to see this.
What is this? Nuclear bomb, Hiroshima. Gets to me every time.
Do you find yourself to blame for all of this?
Well, I don't find myself to blame about giving the designs. I was manipulated, I was lied to.
Yeah.
But
Well, enlighten us on that, Professor.
I kind of do blame myself for sharing my equations.
Yeah.
You see, I have that mentality that all people could be good, so I tried bringing the best in people, and I guess it just came back to me.
Well, that's what happens. There's always going to be those people who are willing to manipulate technology for evil and destruction.
Yeah.
Well, audience, that's all we have today for the great Albert Einstein. It was nice having you today, Einstein. I'd love to see you again, and read a poem if you will.
You too.